everyone. Wanted to do a video on small Yakut knives. I'll talk about neckers and little belt knives. Have a whole bunch of different ones to show you in different configurations from different makers and different styles. So anyway, let's get to it. First of all, Yakut knives tend to be larger. This is typically called a small knife for a Yakut, even though the blade length on this guy is about 4 inches. I think the palm of my hand is almost exactly 3.5 inches, 95 centimeters. Millimeters. So here's one, pretty typical, what's called a small knife. I have a bigger brother for it. That's quite a bit larger than this guy. As you can see, still has a full-size blade. But it is small and light. Basically, the difference is it's about the size of a fist in terms of how big the handle is, and the blade's about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. So that makes it small. Anything basically below 11 centimeters, anything under like 4.5 inches is a small Yakut knife. They are even lighter than their bigger full-size brothers. Typically used around the house, for kids, people with smaller hands, obviously, for crafting, smaller tasks. But anyway, so this one is a good example. A lot of them have polished, narrow fullers. But anyway, and the sheath, typically it is still a belt sheath, same construction as usual with the, if I can show it, I don't know, with the wooden insert on the inside, molded to the knife, kind of like Scandinavian puukko. So this is actually closer to a Finnish or a Swedish or Norwegian, whatever, Scandinavian Nordic knife size. Anyway, so here's another little belter in a slightly different style. This one has a full blade fuller, that completely hammered look. Again, same idea, right? You can put your fist around the knife, around the handle. The blade on this one is just under 4 inches, I think. So about 10 centimeters is typical for these small guys. Super light. What I like doing with these is actually clip it to like my backpack or something, or put another loop, like a paracord loop around it, so you can carry it as a necker. But yeah, a lot of these are not set up as neckers, but they can be. Here's another one, more modern, kind of cleaner style with a different type of wood. Has that bolster, has a narrow, thin fuller. Again, same idea, right? And again, typical size, just over the palm of the hand. So super light, kind of like Finnish puukko size. But this would be the idea, is that it would have a backup from a bigger knife. Here's one that I have, one of the earlier ones I bought in a slightly different style again, where the blade is smaller, handle is still sized for a full grip, and the blade is just about 3.5 inches, so just about the size of my palm. So it's funny how it looks so small for a Yakut knife, even though comparing it to like a Scandinavian knife of the same size, or here's like a modern knife compared to it, right? Same size basically, like slightly bigger blade on this guy, but this feels like a normal mid-sized knife. When you're used to Yakut knives, this feels very small. It's also incredibly light, of course. This one is really good for small tasks, for carving and such. It's I think I've talked about this maker in the past. He makes sort of double convexed, or it's still asymmetric a little bit, but it's more symmetrical on both sides than most others I have, I think, and it is convexed So anyway, it's really tough little blade, really, really handy. Again, set up for similar, you can see kind of like two hands, right? That's how it fits. A belter, but can be put in another loop and carried as a necker kind of thing. Here's a typical round the house kind of small handy knife. Simple, very light construction. Again, same idea, right? Slightly longer than the palm of the hand blade. Same size handle, so they're all kind of the same, right? This one has sort of like that surgical, very thin, super slicey blade. I like using it around the house, opening things, I don't know, whatever. This is one of my favorites right now. I've set it up with a paracord loop so I can carry it as a necker. I like carrying them under the armpit kind of thing. So this one is on the smaller side, one of the smallest ones I have. Still can get the full 4-finger grip on it, on the handle. The blade, as you can see on this one, is about 3 inches smaller than my hand. This guy is very good at carving. Just really an amazing little knife. Again, can do a whole lot more work than it seems capable of. So let me show this one a little better. And you can see it's a typical construction, nothing different really. It's you know, slightly bigger handle than the blade, which is the only difference with the bigger Yakuts, I guess. Flat, mostly flat on this side, and a little bit angled on this side, so that asymmetry with the fuller works really, really well as a carving knife. Simple leather sheath, nice big hole here that you can do a lot with, and has a wooden insert that's hard to see, but it's in there, so it's nice and sturdy. This is a great size, so you can see it's kind of the size of the palm of the hand, so super light, super handy, super useful. Oh, the one on me right now, this is another one of my favorites, so I like carrying it like this. So very easy to get out. You can see the sheath is really cool on this one. Thick, nice leather with a nice insert in there, a hole on the bottom for drainage. Similar size, I guess. Yeah, you can just about get a full grip, and the blade is a little smaller than the hand. The width of the hand, the whole knife is basically the length of my hand. What can I say about this one? This one's different in the, you know, it doesn't have the thin fuller, it has a full hammered fuller kind of thing. It has a really cool, rounded, stabilized mountain sheep horn bolster here. That's really cool. Works really well for choking up on it. Variety of grips. So again, super handy, really easy to carry. Actually set up as a necker. This guy makes a bunch of these, so I asked him specifically for one like that. Has a nice leather cord here for carrying it. Nice and secure with the official seal of the Republic of Sakha on it. Here's a more traditionally executed necker. Again, traditionally they didn't really make neckers, but this one is set up in that style. It has the oxtail sheath. I think I showed it in another video. Similar construction to this guy in terms of how the sheath is made. It's actually set up to be ambidextrous. So the insert on the inside is not shaped to the knife necessarily. There's just a square, just a rectangular opening there, so the knife can go in it either way. And the sheath is the same on all sides, so you can carry it on either side. The knife itself is still right-handed or left-handed, of course, because of the fuller and the asymmetry in the blade. This guy is a little bigger, super light still and pretty slim, but again, this is more like the ones I was showing in the beginning, so just a little maybe too big for me as a neck knife. Also, I think I mentioned in my other previous video that while this is an amazingly awesome, cool thing to do, to have this horsehair braid for the loop, they themselves have told me as well that they've reverted back to leather mostly because it just, these things are very tough and they're not very fun on the skin. So if you got some neck protection or wearing a hoodie or something, this is perfect, but not for the summer. And here's another small knife that I wanted to show. This is not the sheath it came with. I just keep it on my desk, so I keep it in a little cover like that, but it actually has a neck sheath that's hanging in my closet somewhere. Similar size to that last one, kind of similar style, has that hammered fuller, really cool, slightly clip style blade on it, and a little wider than my hand, so about 4 inches. Super light. This one has a full horn handle with carvings. These are you see them a bunch, probably you see them on my website too, on my Etsy store. These are kind of the well-known cave paintings in Yakut in Siberia along the river there. Yeah, so this one is really really good as a necker actually, because as you can see it is set up very slim. So even though you can get a nice secure grip on it, it's a very light, especially for the fact that it's got a horn handle. It's still super light, super slim. He makes versions of this with about the same size, but he can do a birch handle, for example. That's more of a belt knife. Yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of the overview of a bunch of these knives that can be used as neckers. You can see kind of the size. Let me show you. So this little guy I really like as a necker because that's the right size. It kind of just disappears, hangs there. You could hang it in the middle if you wanted to. I like it off to the side, so I just draw it like this. I can have a backpack next to it, right? This guy is similar. So again, if I move them around a little bit, I like doing this, right? Just kind of have it under the armpit, so it's nice and secure, and I can walk around with it, and I can just draw it, and here it is. Easy to put away, discreet. So these two would be my favorite right now, probably, just because of the size, because you can see they're about the same. The other ones are either more of a little belt knife, or like this guy, for if you got bulkier clothing or something in the winter, that's fine. Also, I think I mentioned in other videos, oxtail is not the best thing for like wet weather, for example. So, but for cold, dry days, this one would be fun. And yeah, this guy is, again, imagine it had the necker sheath. It's a little bigger, right? It's not. I'm not the biggest guy, obviously, at barely 5'10", but you can see it's a good chunk of your kind of body size here, versus these two guys that just disappear, right? Anyway, so that's what I want to talk about, is the different types of styles of the little Yakut knives. And again, yeah, I think one thing I would say at the end is that the neckers are more of a recent thing, so not entirely traditional. The smaller knives, anything this size would be like, traditionally would be considered a kid's knife, really, something that they would, give to a little boy when they're born, just to, like as a token kind of thing. But yeah, these days they're finding they're more and more practical. More and more people order these and buy them, so a lot of makers are making these small knives and making them specifically in a neck configuration like this that is very, very practical. So I think really adds to the appeal of this style of knife. So anyway, thanks for looking, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.